Okay, good evening, everyone. In case we've got anybody here that doesn't know me, I'm Diane. I will be your MC tonight. I'm normally a bit fuzzy. I'm even more fuzzy because I had an anaesthetic on Monday, so my brain hasn't actually caught up yet. So you have to make allowances. Do we have any visitors tonight? Any new faces? No. So, okay, so just to run through the in-house stuff. Exits, fire exits at the front, either side here. Toilets, far right, and phones on silent, please. Now we've got some announcements. Dennis, did you want to talk first, or before I got a couple of things? Okay. I'll get my breath back.
Right, I'll keep it brief. You probably noticed the supper is a little bit different for today. I think from October onwards, for various reasons, and one of them is health and safety, keeping the landlord happy. I also made this up a little bit simpler. The changes will be, we won't have anything which the hands will touch. Obviously, biscuits a bit different, so there will be no chocolate fish and etc., no nuts and etc. Just keep it healthy, and no food only at the reception area, so that we don't accidentally drop any crumbs here and then get a mention, because we did a couple of years ago, got a mention about leaving crumbs at the thing. So if we can keep all the eating, if you like, in the reception area, and possibly just water only through the curtain as well, just in case of accidental spill, which we won't know, and clean up may be difficult as well. So, and we try to have supper between the 7 and 8 o'clock instead of before. But don't, if you need a drink, go get a drink, is what I'm saying. So that's going to be the change from October onwards. So anyway, thanks so much.
Okay. I understand tonight that C-grade prints are due in. Heidi's not here. So how many C-graders have brought prints in? 1. Looks like you've won. I can give you a ribbon after. If you'd like to put them out, which you have done, I'll drop them off at Heidi's anyway. She hasn't rung me back, so okay, no worries. Right, just a couple more notices. The club, there's no clubhouse next week, so there's a scavenger hunt, which I have no idea what we're doing about that, so maybe there's an email coming out. Diana's not here, so I'm not sure whether she's organising that. The projected image 9 closes on the 2nd of October, and the set challenge that Ian, I think, sorry? I can't hear. Oh, is it 8? Oh, I don't know. It said, I'm only reading from Diana's notes, so maybe it was an 8, my mistake, sorry. Set challenge due to be handed in on the 9th, and Ian's still away at the moment. I think he's back in a couple of weeks. You may have also noticed that there's a boat trip going out from Littleton Harbour. It's not a private one, it's one that goes out for a season. So if you want to go, I think it just goes out, follows the coast, goes out and the heads, and then comes back the other side and back to port. I don't know whether it's about an hour and a half, but you can buy your own tickets from the Port Harbour website, I believe. And that, I think, is on the 27th. Right. What else is there? So tonight we'll be doing the MDC. We're running that first. And I think the subject is truth. Is that correct, John? Yeah. So we'll run that first, and then we'll go on to the results and critique of the projected image competition. And Jan can come up and tell us about the judge. So, yeah, sorry, John. Yeah.
Sorry about that. We're actually looking for some people to help with the projected images competition management. So next year we're going to need some extra people, and I'd just like anybody who would be interested to learn from those that are currently doing it. Let me know, and we can put people together, and hopefully that way we'll have a nice, smooth program next year. Yep, preferably 2 people. So please come and see me, and let me know if you're interested. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. So if we can go on with the MDC, Alan, that would be great.
Thank you, everybody, and congratulations to Jane, who's first again. Another chocolate fish, well deserved. And can we do a number between 1 and 7 as we normally do, please? 2, and then between 1 and 30. 15 is cut. So you've got 6 weeks, because it's halfway through this month and it doesn't finish till the end of next month, with the next week off. So it's the end of October, cut 6 weeks, and the current MDC, the end finishes at the end of this month. So thanks again for everybody.
It's always fun to watch those and see how we all have different interpretations of the subject. It's fascinating. Okay, so we'll now proceed to the critique and judging of the PI competition, which is, what number is it? 7. So I'll get Jan Bogue to come up and introduce I'll give us the bio for the judge for the night. You can come up or stay there if you want. Come on. Share the podium.
Good evening. Yep. Oh, I can't see it. I can't read it. Oh, okay. Thanks. Our judge tonight is Paul Daly. Paul is unable to be with us tonight as he's teaching, but I'm sure that you will enjoy his critiquing of our landscape images. A little background on Paul. Paul is a photographer based in Christchurch. He splits his time between touring the country, shooting imagery for print, stock and magazine use for New Zealand Panorama, travelling to far-flung parts of the earth, shooting and guiding travel photography with Nomadic Planet Limited, and shooting commercial landscapes and architectural assignments for his business, Paul Daly Photography. He has also spent time shooting the Mackenzie country for National Geographic, and he also has won many landscape awards over the years. Thank you, Paul, for tonight, and thank you, Nicola, for reading the scores and critiquing.
Am I on? Yes. Yep. Oh, when we're ready. Whoops. Okay, oh, I'm not in the same order. What? Oh. Help. Yep, thank you. Okay, score 1. Nice use of the river as a leading line to the other boat. However, the horizon needs straightening. There's some sort of softness in the hill on the right-hand side, and highlights in the sky are overexposed. And the magenta cast one on the hills need correcting. Northland Cave view. Need to consider when you're shooting this type of shot and the composition. The cave sides frame the image area well, and the water in the foreground does create a leading line, but the central horizon is static. There is no real point of focus. The middle of the daylight doesn't help, and the contrast of the waves means you're losing details in the wave highlights. Path in the Littleton Rock. The time of day, exclamation mark. All you need to do is wait for that lovely warm light that occurs here near the end of the day, and that would have helped a lot. Leading line of the path works well. The sky with those wispy clouds is another area that would have benefited from the evening's warm light. Winter in Christchurch. The high contrast of the light at this time of the day doesn't help the image. Think about the same shot, first thing in the morning, with the softer sunrise light lighting the mountains in a warm glow, and the contrast of the buildings being less jarring. Sharpness of the mountains is not good as it could be. A Lake Heron evening. It's just about picking your moments. This is a great location, but the light here is just flat, probably being filtered through with some clouds. Reflections come and go with small amounts of something change. It's just about getting the timing right or learning to be a little bit more patient. Candy floss on the hawk duns. It's a poor use of colours, well seen and good framing, but a little over-processed as there is some banding in the highlights of the clouds. Shadow blueness is quite dominating. Lake Pearson, nice scene, location and reflection, but a different time of day needs to be considered. Feels very middle of the day. Possibly consider converting to black and white might help. Overlooking the Nevis Valley, Central Otago. Another 2 so you can resubmit. 2 things I'd do. Firstly, get rid of the dust spot in the middle of the sky. Secondly, crop a little bit of the sky out. There's nothing happening there, so just make it a little bit more panoramic. This gives you an opportunity to resubmit this photo into another competition. Sealy Tarns. Feels over-processed. Shadows pushed too much, and the highlight details in the snow is gone. Perceived horizon needs to be straightened. Magical hoarfrost. Really nice scene, which is well seen and composed. I was excited when I saw this thumbnail, but when enlarged, the loss of detail in the highlight has brought it down. Reprocess, controlling the highlights and resubmit, and it will do better. Winter isolation. Nicely composed and exposed. I find the forced vignette a little distracting, especially on the right-hand side and over the background trees. Sheep oblivious. Very dramatic clouds, and the exposure for the mountains and sky to convey the feeling of drama has been done okay. But the foreground area with the sheep and the brightness levels there are quite distracting and don't feel realistic. If you're going to process dark for those background areas, you need to find a happy, realistic place for the foreground to sit. O Reti Dawn, nice colour capture. The central horizon means the sky and the foreground compete with each other. Also, it's not as sharp as you would expect, especially the hills on the left-hand side. Three sentinels. Good handling of the exposure, but the blueness of the light at that time of the day dominates the image. And personally, a tighter crop around the trees would probably benefit the composition. Okay, I've just marked that down. Is that horizon straight? Straighten it and resubmit it. Nice imagination and using the car to add a reflective surface to the image. Kaikoura Dawn, lovely light and location. I do wonder what the composition would have been like a little to the left with the foreground water more central in the frame. Good morning. Nice capture, especially enjoying the detail of the water drops on the grass. Sorry, it's Horizon Guy here again. Is that straight? Straighten, but watch you don't lose any on the right hand side and resubmit. Upper Daly River. A little over processed and the colour balance a bit not right. I know it's hard to get it looking right in these conditions, especially when you've pulled detail into the highlights and shadows. Bring back a bit of contrast so the whites are white and the blacks are black, and then resubmit. Where people don't care. Interesting subject, and I don't mind the colours, etc., but the processing looks like a few sliders have been pushed a bit too far, especially the way the sky looks. Beautiful morning, lovely light and location of course, but it needs a centre of focus or something in the composition to draw the viewer's eye through the scene. Brookland streets. Everything has been handled well here, but I feel this needs to be vertical to help portray the tallness of the buildings. Is there another vertical composition? Try that. Also, a small white area on the very edge of the frame, bottom left-hand side, that is distracting. Sunrise from Sabah. The exposure is handled well, considering it's shot straight into the sun. However, the processing of the image makes the colours quite intense. The contrast on the middle hill really drops off, and the small fence bottom right-hand side is distracting. Old Cass Railway Station. Just scored as a 2, so you can resubmit with some small changes. If you have a smidge more sky available, I think the mountains needs a tiny bit more breathing room. Major thing to fix is that edge of the Kiwi Rail sign is in or out of the image. Make it in or make it out, just not part in or part out. Also with the straightness of the train lines, if the verticals could have a small tweak, that would also help. By the light of the silvery moon. Like the idea, but the moon doesn't feel sharp enough. There is some softness to the edges of the moon. Maybe some contrast would help. Waves and rock. I like the idea. It feels like you're looking through some binoculars at the scene. However, the image is flat, which may seem strange, considering how black the rock is. But the water's highlights are only about 75% brightness. They need to be brighter, not to the point of losing detail, but brighter, all the same. Chatham Islands Hapupu Aki Aki trees. Just scored 2 so you can resubmit. Processing is a little heavy-handed to the point of flattening the image. It needs more contrast. Just because you can open up shadows a lot doesn't mean you should. Reprocess and submit. Welcome to Wellington. Image provided is too low of a resolution. Feels a little snapshot-like with the boat bow on the right-hand side edge of the frame. First of the acceptances. Well done. Well done on getting up there soon after new snow and when no one's walking all through it. Not much more you could have done for this image. Not too much longer and you would have had the light leaving the valley and having all that foreground snowing rocks being lit. But maybe thinking of sticking around until dusk and getting some of the late light colours. Forces of nature. Nicely seen scene. Love the stillness of the trees, juxtaposed with the rushing water in the background. The image works well. Last light, Kaikoura. Nice atmospheric image with lovely layering. Exposure and composition handled well, but really needs a point of interest to take it any further. Early morning Kaikoura. Nice leading line created by the wharf. Horizon's a bit central, but the water, rocks and colour palette are allowing you to get away with it. One annoying feature is the fishing boat that appears to be half sitting on the wharf piles. Would have only taken a small movement down to hide the boat completely or a small movement up to show it. In honour of. Well composed with the nice leading lines on the path and fences up the hill to the memorial. The clouds are super dramatic and the conversion to black and white is perfect. Only thought is that the memorial does feel quite small in the frame, whilst keeping a similar composition could be achieved. Moving closer to make the memorial larger while keeping a similar composition could be achieved. Wintry Isle. Nicely captured image, well handled in what can be a tricky exposure. I'm not sure that there is much more that can be done with this image, but I do wonder if when shooting what the shot would have been like if the photographer was further down the bank and making more of the reflection. Just a thought. Iceberg, Scoresby Sund, Greenland. Enjoying the wave detail and how it's used to lead into the shot and the timing of it and the reflections. I'm personally finding it very blue, but then again, these are probably the conditions. Alexandra Sunrise. Well handled exposure and the processing is spot on of the subject. Personally, I'm not sure about the 3 different frame sizes of the triptych, but I know others will like it as the splits in the images are done in the logical places. Fiordland Shelter. Nicely handled capture that tells the story of those times in the bush when we glimpse first sight of our night's accommodation after a long day's tramp. colour and composition handled well. Score 4, Moireki. First up, well done for turning the camera in the opposite direction to what most people do at this location. Personally, not my cup of tea with the level of processing, but it has been done well for the effect that the photographer is going for. The grittiness and drama created just works for the scene. It's like every little bit of texture has been extracted from every rock, bush or cloud in the scene. The only thing that has held it back a bit for me is the person in the far left-hand side. If only you'd been able to wait a few minutes for them to leave the scene. What's worst is it looks like they are looking directly at you. Maybe next time, just try and indicate to them to move a little to your left. I often find people are more than willing to move if you give them a friendly smile and a wave, indicating that they are in your shot. Foggy morning, nice ethereal feeling to this image and a soft colour palette that suits it very well. My only thought is that it could be cropped a little on the right hand side to the first tall bit of shadow in the background tree line. Hope hugs the rim. Beautiful soft image that just has a lovely quietness about it. The mountain just peeking above makes you wonder about what is behind the ridge line. Nicely seen. The harsh upper Mustang, Nepal. Love the layering in this image. The leading line of the road works perfectly, and the contrast not only in the hill colour compared to the mountains, but also the almost softness of the foreground hill compared to the mountains in the background. The wind on the tops is epic. Might also work well in a black and white, question mark. Lake Heron, nicely captured and converted to black and white. The contrast levels are great. The position of the reflection on the right hand side, so it follows the shape of the foreshore, is really well done. The only area of concern are how blocked up are the blacks, especially in the ground area on the right hand side. Something should crop on the left hand side come in a bit. The way the light on the mountains and ripples on the water basically give a fade out on the left hand side. Maybe it could have come in a little bit more without losing any of that impact. Morning mist. Just love the quietness of the scene, the simple composition, the slightly elevated view which makes the water the background for the image. Combining with the high key exposure gives it a feeling of oriental prints. You can easily imagine this image sitting on your wall. Well done. Reflecting on the past. Wow, really well done. Love the reflection and the tonal range of the black and white conversion. The later light is really helping picking up the detail in the beach and the trees. Only question is that rippling effect in the sky, clouds, or something in the processing. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and going with the clouds. And best in show, Ohope beach scene. A landscape within a landscape. What a stunner. The photographer of this image has done a beautiful job of composing this image. The placement, the frame allows us to read many things into it. Whether we see the lines in the sand as an aerial of a braided river or wind-swept trees, it doesn't matter because everyone's going to interpret it for themselves. The best photos are those where the viewer goes on their own journey when viewing the photograph. The conversion to black and white is perfect. The tones are spot on. Well done, you.
Okay, they were fabulous. Are you going to present with Newell? Okay, lovely. Thank you.
Okay, this is acceptance. Mount Cook, Hee-Chin Kim. Okay, acceptance. Forces of Nature, JK. Okay, acceptance. Last Light Kaikoura, Raywin White. Right, sorry. Okay, acceptance. Early Morning Kaikoura, Bonnie Sets Camp. Acceptance in honour of Nola Sumner. Okay. Yep. Acceptance, Wintry Isle, Janine Money. Okay. Iceberg Scoresby, Sun Greenland, Karen McConaughey. Okay, acceptance, Alexander Sunrise, Diana Andrews. John will accept that on. Oh, John will come get it. Hello, Diana. Oh, that's got nothing written on it, but Fiordland Shelter, Peter Curtis, acceptance. Now this is high acceptance, Muraki Alan Moore. High acceptance, Boggy Morning, Francesca Davies. Oh, what's that say? Hope, high acceptance, Hope, the room, Karen Dance. High acceptance, the harsh upper Mustang Nepal, Alistair Phillips. High acceptance, Lake Heron, Janine McIver. Honours, Morning Mist, and Yuan. Okay. Oh, you're right. Honours, reflecting on the past, Sue Coombs. And honours and best in show, Ohope Beach Scene, John Ben. Well done, John. It's a beautiful image. Do you want to say something? No. Thank you for everybody who entered. Well done.
There's some lovely image there, John. Congratulations. So is anybody that's got honours or high acceptance wants to talk about their image briefly? Would you like to talk about yours? Sorry, my voice is going again.
This was taken last year in Nepal, up a Mustang. Did a 10-day trek and just walking to village, and it was fantastic. Unfortunately, you have to take the photos when you see them. You can't go back at sunset or get up for sunrise because you're 20 k's away. I'm really happy with that. Thanks. Yeah, no, I will. Anybody else like to talk about their images tonight? Can we flick? Have we got? Oh, we're running out of time, I suppose. Anybody else like to say a few words? Would you like to? Yes, good. Thank you, my dear.
So this was one of those moments where you just take it. So I was sitting on a deck with a glass of wine, and my camera was in my bedroom, and this light just shone on the top of that room. And I was debating with myself all of 2 seconds, and I thought, just do it.
I like the simplicity. It's really nice. Okay. Anybody else while I'm here? Last. Will you? Oh, yes. That's looking in reverse, is it?
Yeah, this is at Maraki. It's taken with my 8mm fisheye. And I have this picture as one of the screensavers on my computer, and I've never seen that bloke on the left, actually. Now I can't not see it. Yeah. Took this when we did a field trip to Oamaru, 2015 or 16. And I just conducted an exercise earlier this year and going through all my images and chucking out all the dross because the hard drive was starting to get full, and I saw this and I liked it, so I entered it in the landscape comp about 3 or 4 months ago. So yeah, I can't remember how I processed it. I went and had a look and I can't see what I did, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm very impressed with everything I've seen. I never leave my deck as far as landscapes go, so I need to get out there a bit more. Dennis has just given me the card for Craig. You're still here. Thank you. I don't know who signed it, but thank you very much for your presentation tonight from the club. Just a little gift from us. Yeah. Everybody enjoyed it, I believe. So it was wonderful. Thank you for coming. The scavenger hunt for the 25th. Dennis doesn't know about it, I don't. So I don't know. It's been put on the list. So I'll. You've done it before. I didn't know. I don't know who's put it out there. I didn't know if it was Diana or the like.
So a scavenger hunt basically sort of what happens is that a whole bunch of subjects will get released at a certain time of the day, which might be 6 o'clock in the evening, and you can form some groups to do it and do it all together, or you can do it on your own and just go out and take these. Well, I'm not sure how many pictures there might be, half a dozen or something of different subjects, and then you need to enter them about just before midnight or after that. I can't remember now, but it's an interesting little exercise to do. But well, that's what you do. Yeah, you form a group, maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and then work out which photograph each person's going to take, and go off and do it. and then come back, process them, and I think one person will upload them. Yeah.
I'll chase it up and see if we can get some information sent out beforehand, so at least you've got a chance of arranging to go out with somebody else if you've got the time to do it. It's just a little mini project. So I think, unless there's any, have you got anything else? No. Unless there's anything else tonight, all that really remains for me to do is to thank you for coming, to thank the boys at the back, and I think, is it Tim and Gordon at the back? Dennis, did you open up? Thank you. Alan on the projection, Nicola for reading. Who else have I got? Supper, again, I think that was Dennis and John. John Hawkins for meet and greet. I don't have I missed anybody. Oh, of course, for Newell as well. Thank you for being our presenter tonight. And I think closing up would probably be Nerily, Dennis and Adrienne. So thank you all. Safe trip home and see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks for coming.